What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Random Jam GEEK YAK show. This is the show where we cover all the topics in the geek culture, such as reviews, discussions, anything like that, even news. And today we are covering the top moments and unanswered questions of the Wandavision series. So this is part 3 of our Wandavision discussion series that we've had here on GEEK YAK. First episode was our non-spoiler review. Second part was our spoiler discussion. And today we are getting into those top moments and unanswered questions. I'm Reese. Here with me is Taylor. How are you doing today? Are you ready to talk about your favorite moments and unanswered questions?
I am always ready to talk things Marvel. So yes, let's go.
All right. So just for those who are listening, first of all, thanks for tuning in with us today. We are glad you are here. Make sure that you check out our other videos. Today, we are discussing WandaVision spoilers. So if you have not watched WandaVision yet, pause this video, go binge the whole series, and then come back so we can talk some spoilers. So just the final warning now before we get into this, we will be talking spoilers on WandaVision. You have been warned. So here we go. All right. So our first segment of this show, we are going to talk about the top moments. The way that works is we both made our lists of our top 5 moments. We are both going to go down each one. 5 and 4 will be our honorable mentions, and then all the way down will be our top 3. So Taylor, kick us off here. Top 5 moments of WandaVision, go.
Number 5, easily. It would have been higher up on the list if we would have got it to be exactly the way that I wanted it to be. But since it wasn't, number 5 on my list is Pietro, or not the Quicksilver that we were looking for in the Marvel universe that came from Sony's X-Men universe. So that's got to be my number 5 because I was hoping so much that he would be that person. They would link that gap, but he wasn't. But it was one of the top 5 moments of the show because it did rock. It was awesome. It was great having him there. It was great having him play that character, and it was a good mind game for Marvel to put us through. So I've definitely got to list that in the top 5, despite it not being him, but definitely up there in a most moment of the show.
Right, for sure. Yeah, that blew all of our minds, and we had no idea what was in store. And that final twist in the last episode kind of explained why, but there could be more to it. We don't know, but that's definitely a good pick. What do you got for number 4?
Number 4, Vision wasn't really there. So the entire season, you think that WandaVision is about Wanda taking Vision, reanimating him, bringing him back to life, and doing all these things with him. And then when it gets close to the end of the season, you realize that it wasn't really him to begin with, but Sword had taken his body and created the White Vision, which was a really good part of the show. But number 4, the release and understanding that, hey, this is not the Vision that we were thinking it was, but this is the mind manipulated one that she created in the universe. So that's going to be my honorable mention number 4 for my top 5.
Cool. This is not the Vision you were looking for.
It definitely wasn't. Dead body Vision.
Dead body Vision. All right. So I'll move into my honorable mentions in my 5 and 4. So my number 5 was the Agatha Harkness reveal. So unlike you in this situation, I knew that it would be Agatha all along. Not necessarily that she was pulling the strings, but definitely knew that Agnes was Agatha. Just from a little bit of research and kind of, finding that out and seeing that Agatha and Harkness, you take away the middle part and you throw the ends together and it makes Agnes. So, and they hinted so many times that she was a witch. She's, the kind of lines she would say and just the things she would do. And then she literally dresses up as a witch in the Halloween episode to kind of give it all away there. But yeah, my number 5 pick was definitely the Agatha Harkness reveal. Still a cool moment, and I was ready for it. But yeah, my number 5. All right, now my number 4 is actually the Evan Peters reveal. So that was the moment that rocked our worlds, blew our minds. I couldn't believe it. I thought, we have him. He's here. The Fox X-Men are alive and well, and this is how they're going to bring them all in. And nope, we got a Ralph Boner. So that's all.
Yep.
That's all we know for right now. And so yeah, that was my number 4. So now that we've finished our honorable mentions, let's move on to our number 3 in our top 3 moments. Taylor, what's yours?
Easily, Monica Rambeau's transformation into Pulsar, Photon, Spectrum, whatever they want to call her, future Captain Marvel, whatever you want to call her. Her transformation was huge in her character development. It was huge in the Captain Marvel universe and the cinematic universe, because we're going to see her transfer from this show into the Captain Marvel movie. Easily one of the top 3 moments, because so much potential for a character that, for one, she's great actress. So gotta have her, gotta love it.
Mhm.
And she really, all I can say, she's great, and it was huge. They kind of changed the way she got her power a little bit, but I'm good with it, and it's completely reasonable. So it was good to have that little Captain Marvel moment at the end where she was like, "Hey, your mom's friend came, and we need you, so let's go." So I'm in. Let's go.
Yeah, that's
So
great. I love how they treated that, and I feel like that all has a purpose for what we're going to see in the future, and planted some seeds, definitely with the idea of radiation,
yeah,
and her X-ray coming up to nothing. So it's like all these little bits and pieces that they've planted that could come up later on that will show
right,
us new things, such as mutants or maybe
mhm,
more superhuman people. So
right.
yeah, that's a good moment for sure. All right, my number 3 is the White Vision reveal. So this was something that I had no idea was going to be in the show from the beginning. A lot of people had speculated it, because it is in a comic moment that
Mhm.
had started to rev up in that episode. Matter of fact, where we did see Vision's body across the tables and everything, ripped straight from the West Coast Avengers storylines. And once I saw that, I was thinking, you know what, we might see him in the next episode, but instead we got him in the post-credit scene. So that was a
Right.
wild moment, and just
Mhm.
like really cool to see all these comic storylines and comic characters coming to life on I guess in this case, TV show and the small screen, and giving us a little glimpse into what Vision will hold for us in the future. So that was my
Absolutely.
number 3, is White Vision.
Good choice. Good choice.
All right, let's move on now to your number 2.
All right, number 2, WandaVision's explosion into the Mind Stone whenever they did the flashback of how she got her powers. It was a great reveal of her future costume. It was a great reveal saying that she had latent abilities that were enhanced by the Mind Stone. And it was just overall, it was huge, because
So
we
cool.
had all these questions that were finally answered in one episode. Was she a mutant? Did she have abilities before? Did she get her powers from the Mind Stone? And now we know that it wasn't just as easy as they tried to explain it way back in the day, now that they have the rights to the mutants. So trying to explain all that in one episode kind of seems a little far-fetched, but they ended up pulling it off very well. And that big moment where you saw her in her costume and the Mind Stone, chills the first time, the second time, I guarantee you it's going to be chills the third time I watch it too. So
Yep.
Wanda's vision into the Mind Stone was easily top five, number 2 moment.
Yeah, for sure. I really enjoyed that scene. What was
Mhm.
really cool, and something I noticed after the fact, is when that happens with her in the
Mhm.
security footage, it is glitched and edited out.
Right.
They do not see that happening.
Mhm.
So that is a really wild thing, and it kind of foreshadows some of the things she actually does with the reality inside the hex whenever the sword agents are watching it on the TV and things get edited
Mhm.
out or cut, that we kind of see a little bit of that happening
It's true.
even at that time. So
Mhm.
that was a really, really cool scene, and kind of showing her why she's that powerful.
Yeah,
All
absolutely.
right. So my number 2 was the name drop of the Scarlet Witch. That moment in episode 8 blew my mind. I did not think that and could not believe that they had not said Scarlet Witch since the beginning of the MCU. So
Mhm.
that was a really special moment, I think, especially for her character, and a special moment for the MCU as a whole, because
Mhm.
now we have Wanda Maximoff, level 11 at this point, and she is about to go kick some butt all over the multiverse. So yeah, the name drop in Agatha saying you are the Scarlet Witch confirmed that she has this chaos magic and that she is a danger to be messed with.
It's good
So
to
that's
know
my
now,
number
because
2.
everybody got name dropped. Everyone had names except for her. She was just Wanda Maximoff.
Exactly.
Oh, she's a Scarlet Witch. So yeah, good choice. Really good choice.
All right. So Taylor, get us down to our number ones. You're first.
Easily Darkhold, the Darkhold, the Book of the Dead, the Book of the Damned, Hell's Book, everything, whatever you want to call it. Easily my top, because here's the deal. My favorite character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is split tie between Wolverine and Ghost Rider. Ghost
Yep.
Rider has a firm hand in the Darkhold and its place in the Marvel Universe, in that dark realm, in the dark dimension, in hell, all that stuff. Anything that's Ghost Rider related, I'm in every time. So the Darkhold reveal, the name drop of the Darkhold was absolutely my top favorite moment. I love WandaVision. I love everything about it. And I know the entire show is about her, but that book opened so many
Mhm.
doors into one of my favorite characters' universe. So that's what I'm hoping for, because I know that he's coming, just don't know how. And that's what I'm looking forward to. So easily number one, because it leaves me on edge thinking what's coming next, what's happening. So easily a
Exactly.
good ending.
Yeah, that I think people underestimate that reveal because
Mhm.
while we may have been looking for mutants and other characters in the Marvel universe to show up, I
Mhm.
think that was probably the biggest thing to come out of that series was the Darkhold
Right.
because that opens up so many possibilities. Like you said, Ghost Rider and a lot of those supernatural characters and
Mhm.
monsters in the MCU. But mostly, I'm excited now that the fact that we could see the Midnight Sun. So I'm gonna have to go
Yep.
revisit some of those comics of the
Mhm.
Midnight Suns. One of them being the Darkhold series, and these were coming out in like the 90s. That was a cool series to check out. But yeah, definitely excited for that and the possibilities of maybe even seeing the Midnight Sun. So
Absolutely. That would be so cool.
all right. So my number one pick for my top moment would be the Vision versus Vision fight. So just to kind of break that down and why I loved it, he comes in, White Vision swoops in as they're fighting Agatha, and comes up to Wanda, and we're thinking, okay, what's about to happen? You know,
Mm.
is he gonna sound like Ultron? Has that one taken over? Is he going to be the same Vision? And he says Wanda, and she immediately is like, oh, he's back. It's just he just doesn't have color now. He's just white. And all of a sudden he grabs her head like, oh, like they've done in the past, and then all of a sudden he starts crushing it. And just I had all the Terminator vibes in my head. It was so awesome. At the same time, Vision swoops in, knocks him out into that RV, that a big explosion, and he walks away from it unharmed. And then they get into it, phasing through each other, and then ultimately, fighting with logic at the end. That was such a cool moment
Mhm.
for me, and kind of had some Superman vibes. But I loved them giving both Visions a chance to fight each other.
And don't worry, the logic fight did take place in a library. So gotta make make that
And
books
what was
everywhere.
and what was great about that is it brought back that philosophical side of Vision. We saw that a
Mm,
lot with him at the end of Age of Ultron when he was having
mm,
those conversations with Ultron. And my
mhm.
favorite line that Vision had was, it's not like I was born yesterday.
Yeah.
So
Well, yeah. Well, I was
I
born
was born
yesterday.
yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
So yeah, Vision versus Vision was my number one. So yeah, lots of great moments. Those are a few of our top favorite ones. If they're not yours, for those who are watching, let us know what your top moments were. Let's get a conversation going. There was so many in there, but yeah, let us know. And we're going to move on to our next segment, which will be all the unanswered questions that WandaVision
Mm.
kind of left us with in that finale. So with that, we're going to go to our first question here in our unanswered questions, and that is, where is Doctor Strange? And how will Wanda fit in Doctor Strange 2, which she is set to appear in? What do you think about that, Taylor?
Honestly, that's kind of a deep question, because you know that he's there somewhere. I'm sure that he's probably aware of what's going on, but obviously, I feel like he thinks. I mean, they fought before. They fought at the end of Endgame. Okay, I guarantee you he knows who he is. She is. I guarantee you, I know that he knows what that book is, because he's probably read by now every single book in the, like, the building where he's staying, and he's the sorcerer supreme. You know dang well that he's trying to study everything that he can, and everything that he thinks he needs to know. He's already been to the dark dimension once. The book is from there. So I personally, I think it's going to be one of those moments where he senses that the book is doing something and someone's reading the book
Yeah,
and doing something, and that's going to draw him in. Or I personally, I think that's going to happen. I think he is going to sense something's going on. He is going to portal where she is, and it's going to spark something. That's what I think. That's my theory.
that's
So,
totally possible. I mean,
mhm,
he is the sorcerer supreme and keeper of all the realities, basically.
right,
So he has to come into play in some shape or form. It's just interesting
mhm,
that he didn't show up in this
right,
series, but I'm sure there's a perfectly logical reason why.
mhm,
But that was a big unanswered question, especially since
yeah,
everybody thought he was going to be in the show.
right,
So yeah,
right.
that's crazy. All right, let's move on to the next question. What do you got, Taylor?
Who was the missing person in the witness protection? Answer that one, Reese.
Gosh, man, I have no idea. So they set this up in the fourth episode, I believe, whenever Jimmy Woo and Monica Rambeau are sitting outside of the hex, and those two police officers are there. Which that was a whole weird situation. They're like, "Yeah, Westview doesn't exist," and they're sitting right in front of the sign. And I'm guessing that was a product of the hex, or maybe Wanda hexed those police officers to kind of stay guard and draw people away.
Mhm,
But yeah, that was a weird thing. But Jimmy Woo was saying that he was assigned to come out here to Westview to investigate a missing persons an investigation, and they were under witness protection or something like that. So
yeah.
that was something that they never really brought up again. But I'm wondering if it was one of those characters that we saw. What do you think, Taylor?
It's possible that it could have been. I don't know, because I got you. Some people are out there probably going to be like, well, it's all the civilians of Westview. And just going to be like, well, yeah, but they're the witness protection part of that. I mean, none of them, as far as we know, were in witness protection. So that specific phrasing is going to be something that we have to think about. Because at the same time, is it possible maybe Quicksilver might have been in witness protection for some unexplained reason that we don't know yet? It's possible. I don't know. There's a lot. That's definitely one of those unanswered questions that we may or
Okay,
may
well,
not
here's a
find out.
wild theory for you. Since
Yeah.
you mentioned that, what if? Okay, this is just I'm reaching. So what if this Quicksilver that we've seen is the Fox Quicksilver? Okay, and he has come from this other timeline, right?
Hmm.
And he can't go by Pietro Maximoff because there's already been one in that timeline.
Right.
So maybe someone at Sword they had to put him under witness protection to be someone else, in this
Hmm.
case Ralph Boner, and to live in this quiet town of Westview to kind of be away from everyone, and that would explain his powers and everything like that. So who knows?
Good
And maybe
question.
that's why he was missing, because they didn't know where he was. And maybe he was under witness protection because he already
He's a
exists in
super.
that timeline. I don't know, but
Yeah.
that's just my little quick little theory on that.
That's a good. It's a good one. It kind of falls right into the whole point of, was he there before the hex happened and his mind changed? So yeah, that's a good question. I hope
And
they
my
answer it.
other thought was maybe it was that mailman, because he was kind of
Uh,
weird the entire time. He has a government job,
hmm.
super low key. And he comes up to him, multiple times. He's like, "Oh, don't shoot I'm just the messenger," you know. And he says that
Fair point.
twice, like he's like glitching and kind of things like that. And he just always shows up at the weirdest times throughout the episode.
Hmm.
So who knows? That could have maybe been he was either the missing person or under witness protection. So that's my theory on that.
It's a good one. It's definitely a good one. You have a number three on top moments or top unanswered questions?
Yeah. So our next question will be, where did White Vision go when he says, "I am Vision," and he flies off out of the library? Where do you think he goes?
Superman fly. And that's kind of hard too, because you would think after he had all of his memories restored, the first thing he would want to do is fly to the love of his life. It just doesn't make sense. So yeah,
Apparently not.
where's maybe where's he going? Is there something that he's missing, or something that we missed in something that he just needs immediate answers for? I mean, obviously, I think they'll explain it, because I don't think that they're just, I don't think his character, the Vision, I don't think he's done. So we're going to have him return, but I feel like he's going to come back with some kind of answer to a question that he had and we had. So I have absolutely no idea where he went, because I can't think of where he could go, because if it's not with Vision, if it's not with Wanda, and it's not with Tony Stark, his creator,
Hmm.
where'd he go?
So here's a funny theory I have. So Vision, the Hex Vision, downloads his information into the White Vision, and it shows us all those memories and different things. So he's up to date. Well, the last memory that the actual Vision has is getting the Mind Stone ripped out of his head by Thanos.
Yeah,
So
that's
what
true
if
too.
White Vision is like, well, I got to go get Thanos, and he
Yeah.
blasts off. So it was
It's a
like,
good question. It's a good point. Good
it's
question.
like, well, he doesn't, he no longer exists, so he's might be
Yeah,
chasing after nothing. But that was just kind of like my funny theory is like
that would be
that's
funny.
the last thing that Vision would remember is getting
Mhm.
that Mind Stone ripped out of his head. And so he's gonna go after Thanos or thinks he's gonna go after
Either
Thanos.
that's a good question, or did the Vision from the Hex dimension upload everything that he knew in the Hex as well? So maybe everything from that point to the point where she created him, since he was an artificial intelligence, maybe he transferred his memories to him and just rewrote him, kind of like Wanda rewrote reality. So that's good,
Right.
good,
They'll
good theory
definitely
as well.
reunite at some point
Mhm.
for sure.
Right.
And he could show up somewhere and start mentoring the Young Avengers,
Yep.
or maybe he starts the West Coast Avengers. Maybe these things start to pop up, and it kind
Right.
of creates this larger world of teams. So who knows? All right, what's the next question we got?
Dude, will they explain the Nexus characters or the Nexus itself in the future? What do you think?
Yeah, they definitely like kind of threw that out there at us, and I don't think everybody caught on to that maybe as they maybe expected, or they did that on purpose, not thinking everybody would catch on. But
Right.
based on some research I've done, a lot of people are starting to wonder what that little Easter egg was in
Hmm.
the commercial that we saw in the Modern Family episode. um, it definitely explains who Wanda is. She is an Nexus being, and she exists in all realities the same. So that could obviously, get us into the multiverse of madness, Doctor
Mm.
Strange 2, and kind of explain that she exists the same amongst all realities, and that she kind of has that power to manipulate and control those realities. So that is very interesting, but it also could introduce us into some other Nexus beings, such as Kang and all those other characters like that.
Mhm.
So I love how they name drop that in there, and I'm excited to see what they do with the Nexus for sure.
I agree. I agree. Kang is a Nexus character too, so he's coming. Be prepared. Be prepared. They own Disney, Lion King. Be prepared.
Exactly. All right, so the next question that we have unanswered that we kind of got teased in that post-credit scene
Hmm.
is how will Wanda's twins return, because they have set them up as such important characters. Wiccan and Speed, they also known as Billy and Tommy, the twins, that they have developed their powers, and they've become important to her. In the comics, things have gone a little bit differently than what we experience in the show. But that little mom help me cry that we hear at the end in that post-credit scenes as she's scrolling through, or kind of studying the Darkhold, that we will probably see them again. And yeah, so what do you think about that?
I'm curious if she's going to be searching through different realities to a point where she might be able to take them. It's possible. Wiccan alone is a huge character in the Marvel cinema or the Marvel universe in the comics. So big character with Doctor Strange, his universe, that whole magic sorcery stuff. He's a big part of it as well. Uh, it's curious because obviously in the comics they're real. In WandaVision they were constructs of the Hex. Is she looking for a reality where they were real? It's possible.
Hmm.
It's difficult. It's a difficult question, but absolutely, I don't think it's the end of it because of, like you said, that clip it after credit scene when she's looking through the dark hold, and we hear that. There's got to be a reason. There's got to be a reason, or they wouldn't have done it, because it would have been just as good a cliffhanger if they didn't add that in there. So,
Right. And they will, hopefully be a part of the Young Avengers if
mhm,
they start to put that together.
right,
So that's something to look forward to with those characters.
absolutely.
All right. And our final question, what do we got, Taylor?
Do you think that the sword is gone? Do you think that the repercussions are gone? Obviously, something like that happened to the point where even Agatha looked at her and said, "You have no clue what you just unleashed." She hasn't done anything yet. She hasn't read the book yet. We don't know what she's unleashed. Why would she unleash it? Was the hex some kind of release of something? What do you think?
I mean, I definitely think that there's going to be some kind of repercussions from the hex, because that was a massive event. And
Mm-hmm.
although we haven't heard much about it in that moment, and moments after it happened, that town is going to be starting to kind of band together to make sure that somebody goes after Wanda. Because we see at the very end, she's flying off to get out of there after she does her walk of
Right.
shame. Those people are not happy to see her, because
No.
she had them trapped, and they have very, very good reasons to feel that way.
Oh yeah.
But I think word's going to get out about this event,
Mm-hmm.
even though it might have felt like it was small scale, but had large proportions to it. That we will see some more, just like what happened in Age of Ultron, leading into Civil War, all of the complications with the Sokovia Accords and things like
Right.
that. The idea of people retaliating against superpowered people, and even mutants, which we know that's a part of their storyline. So I think that's the beginnings of some of the pushback on superpowers, and superheroes in general, because it seems to be from the beginning up until recent that the general public has been excited, been fans of these heroes, of the Avengers.
Right.
They're going to save us, they can help us. But I think that this is the moments where we start to see, and Hayward even mentions it as he's taking Wanda to see Vision at the sword facility. He says, these are people we can't control. And so he's referring to these superpower beings.
Right.
So, and that's a terrifying thing, to be, a normal person and then not being able to control these people that have all these powers. So
Right.
I think that's going to be a larger topic moving forward, and I'm excited to see where that goes.
Same.
All right. So now that we've given you our top moments and our unanswered questions, you let us know in the comments, for those who are watching, what are your top moments? What are your unanswered questions of the entire series of WandaVision? Where do you think things will go next? I know we have Falcon and the Winter Soldier coming up in a few weeks. We have the Loki series, as well as a few movies. So this year is going to give us a lot of new information and give us a lot of really cool stories moving forward. So thank you guys for tuning in and watching with us, whether you're coming in live or on the replay. We appreciate it. Make sure you follow Random Jam on Facebook and on YouTube, and follow me at Reese_MCK. Taylor, where can people find you?
At Taylor Jackson. Except for the A's, you put a V. It's like an A reversed. So yeah, it's that simple, people. Come on.
That sounds very simple.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's enough Geek Yak for this week. We will see y'all next time on Geek Yak. See you later. Stay geeky, y'all.